Time to take a closer look inside the Sunday papers with Miguel and Darren now. Darren, let's start with you. What have you got?
Yeah, this is a big move for Manchester United. We've spoken so many times about them. And there's a headline, oh man, it's this man, Omar Berrada, who's gone across Manchester from City to United. Look at the subdeck because it tells a story. United pull off a massive coup by luring the City CEO, Omar Berrada, to Old Trafford. He is the guy in charge of their footballing operations. He's been hugely successful. And when you bear in mind that they have, 11 clubs across Europe, across the world, as part of the City Football Group, and all of them have had varying levels of success. The one I think of straight away is Girona, who are competing for the title in Spain, and they appear to have come from the clouds. So they've got some wonderful players, but they're an example of just how effective that City operation is. When you think about all of that, this is a coup for United. And there are two things just to point out with this. Many times we talk about United on this show around about 10 o'clock in the morning after they've lost or drawn or disappointed, or there's been some kind of issue that's dominated the news agenda the day before or in midweek. And it's got to the stage where we've all talked about the fact that the solution isn't any one player. The solution is a cultural shift, a structural shift, and a way of operating that takes the players, if you like, out of the equation and changes the ideology. And with that in mind, I just want to read you something from the statement that was put out by Manchester United yesterday. It says, "The club is determined to put football and performance on the pitch back at the heart of everything we do. Omar's appointment represents a first step on that journey."
Yeah, he's been there at City since 2016, and sort of Manchester City has said, this is a compliment, the fact that see it as a compliment that they wanted him. It is a huge coup, though, isn't it, as Darren was saying, Miguel?
Yeah, also I think Sam Wallace described in Telegraph as maybe the most significant executive move across the big club since Peter Kenyon actually left Manchester United for Chelsea at the very start of the Abramovich era. And I suppose there's maybe something in that in terms of kind of the parallels too, because say when this ownership took over Manchester City after the initial kind of 4-year plan, what was their most kind of striking step? It was basically they saw what was at the top of football, which at that point was Barcelona, and went and hired a series of executives from Barcelona.
Best in class.
One of them being Omar Berrada. So now you'd wonder, is this what United are trying to do themselves, having fallen so far behind City? Are they just looking at who's top of the game? Well, let's go for that. Now, Berrada wasn't in quite the same role he is at Manchester United, but I suppose in terms of his own career, he'd want a step up in that way. I suppose there's another kind of interesting context, given City faced the 115 alleged breaches, which will, I suppose, depending how that goes, if, say, they are found guilty, will bring scrutiny on the hierarchy from that time. So there are a lot of kind of subplots swirling into this, what is a very interesting story.
Interesting thing, though, in Martin Ziegler's piece in the Telegraph, he says that Omar had his employment predates all of that. So he was not around at the time of these alleged breaches, on obviously City denying the wrongdoing. I think as far as Berrada's recruitment is concerned, for me, the significance of it is this. Ed Woodward was obsessed by celebrity. And if you look at many of the biggest signings during his reign, they're all A-listers or had been A-listers. And it was with an eye on increasing. And to be fair,
we're going to start, gentlemen, by talking about our Premier League insider David Ornstein's scoop yesterday that Manchester United have appointed a man called Omar Berrada. You'd be forgiven for not knowing who he is. He was, up until a couple of days ago, the Chief Football Operations Officer at City Football Group, Manchester City. But Manchester United have gone across town and plucked him to become their new CEO. He's on gardening leave right now, but he will start the job at Old Trafford in the summer. a statement came out. Of course, David released the story yesterday, and the statement says that United is pleased to announce the appointment of Omar Berrada, and the club, this is where it's key, they say, are determined to put football and performance on the pitch back at the heart of everything we do. Omar's appointment represents the first step on this journey. That's just part of the statement. Robbie, how significant is this?
Well, not going over the top, Rebecca, this could be one of the biggest signings Manchester United have had in the last 10 years. And I'm talking, this guy ain't going to score 20 goals, and he's not going to stop 20 goals. But the importance of having a top-class executive, a best-in-class executive who can come in, who can shape this football club, is huge. We're talking back to the Peter Kenyon days and the David Gill days before this time, when we've seen a team with success that whatever's happening on the football pitch has always mirrored what's happening off it. And Manchester United have been quite shambolic off it in many regards over the last few years. So bringing somebody like Berrada in, who knows the job, who's ambitious, who knows all that's gone on at Manchester City and where that success come from, they've done it quickly, they've done it discreetly, and it's a great sort of first mark for Jim Ratcliffe and his ownership of the football club.
Many people are saying, Robbie, that it's the biggest executive poach in football since, as you mentioned, Roman Abramovich came to Chelsea and went to United and took Peter Kenyon to come on board as his CEO to work with Jose Mourinho. And, of course, we all know what happened next. How impressed are you with this move?
Well, also to go to the big rivals, and they have no ego to go there and try and pluck their best guy. As Robbie says, he knows what success looks like, Rebecca. I think his background is commercial. I think he was a commercial director at Barcelona. Then he followed the other guys coming from that club into Manchester City, part of a very strong management team, which is important and which they're starting to build right now. He knows about commercial. I know that he worked with the director of football, Bergerstein, at Manchester City, so the recruitment side is ticked off. You'll see what youth academy success looks like. So you've got to like it. Somebody that's been there before. I think our understanding is that he wanted to be CEO at Manchester City. Soriano's been there forever and isn't going to go anywhere soon. So it's an opportunity for him to really kind of give to Manchester United what he's learnt at Man City. And like Rob, it just sounds like a really good move.
One of the important things as well, Bex, and you get the sense under this Ratcliffe new era this will happen, he also now has to have the support to bring in the right people who can help him take Manchester United where they want to be. Yes, he's a great signing, but on his own, he needs recruitment, he needs to get the technical director, he needs to get all those things in place so Manchester United can function properly.
But he has the power to do that, and he knows what good people look like. So being the CEO, that's the top, isn't it? That's the top of the organisation, so you'd hope that he gets the right people to do that.
Well, according to David Ornstein, he's turned down another Premier League club, he's turned down MLS clubs, and he's turned down NFL clubs as well to become chief executive at Manchester United. As part of their statement as well, they talked about, it is our stated ambition, they say, to re-establish United as a title-winning club. In the words of Sir Matt Busby, for the red flag to be flying high at the summit of English, European and world football. Do you think sometimes the executive role, that sort of chief executive role and the structure below him, isn't always given as much importance as it deserves?
I do. I mean, we've said for a while now on this show that it wants ripping up and starting again. Well, that's exactly what they're doing, and this is the very top of that I guess that branch that goes down and figures everything else out. There's no question that the football side of it hasn't been as important. You know, the owners haven't been. The Glazers weren't that bothered about not winning. This football club needs somebody that wants to win, needs to win, and do everything in their powers to win football. And that's what, again, what we're kind of talking here is that's what it looks like, sounds like they've got right now, and it'll be this front and centre of everything they do going forward.